My name is Jaycee Raimondo. I'm Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity of Bergen County, and we're at our Washington Township site where we're building 2 homes for veterans and 2 affordable homes for seniors. And we're kicking off today National Women Build Week in conjunction with Habitat International and Lowe's, which is the exclusive sponsor of the National Build Week. It starts today, and it encourages women for the next 7 days to give up a day to help volunteer and build our affordable homes all throughout the country. So it's an empowering movement, and we like to educate the women about how to build, empower them at the same time, and teach them how they can give back and how important volunteering is, and how that our homes do not happen without our volunteers. So it's honoring them and empowering them at the same time this week.
You know, when Jaycee first called me, I quickly said yes, and then I said to myself, am I crazy? At my age, can I remember what to say? There are days when at lunchtime, I can't remember what I had for breakfast, and here I am saying, I'll speak. And then I said to myself, what can I talk about? Is there a thread between us that links both of us together? And I said, yes, there is. As I started to think, and the one thing is Jaycee. That is the person who I know and you know. I live next door to Jaycee. Jaycee, I know how you started to call me Aunt Ro.
Why?
My nieces, we all lived in a little compound. Her family, my family, and I had nieces and nephews, and they call me Aunt Ro. And those 4 children next door, the Raimondos, just did the same thing. And so I'm very proud to say that Jaycee is my niece. And you know, Italian families, that's what they do. Everybody's an aunt or uncle, no matter what.
That's true.
I saw Jaycee grow up. I saw her raise her children. Jaycee, I guess we lived close to that age for over 20 years.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then she has a son that I gave basketball lessons to. There I was, 5 foot. He's about 6'3". I was looking up to him. But every time I went to the house, that's the only thing we did. No, we ate a little.
We always ate.
Other than eating, Eric and I would be outside at the basketball court working. And then the other thing, the second thing is the fact that I admire you so much. You're all volunteers. And in a way, I volunteered also to teach young ladies, mostly young ladies, sometimes men, but mostly young ladies, the life of basketball through life's skills. The same things you are teaching your children or your nieces and nephews or family. It's the same thing that we taught basketball, trying to teach them life skills. Most of the times, we taught them how to get along together. All the things that you taught your children or people that you know, we taught through basketball. But there was so much that she learned, and I guess the idea of playing a game, and if you win, it's so much better, that they enjoy doing. See, I have to look at my notes to see what I did, and then I can't understand my own handwriting. You know, and then you say, no, wait a while. If she was a teacher and a coach, she had to receive a salary, and yes, I did receive a salary, especially for my teaching. My coaching salary never added up to anything. My first year was right after I got out of college in 1951. I received $200, and 14 years later at the same school, I was still getting $200. It never bothered me in the least. It wasn't what I was thinking about. And then I think the rest of the years that I coached, I coached in parochial schools because at that time there were no public schools that had teams. And some of you, if you did play in high school, now girls are playing all over the country. I never made more than $400 as a coach. You know what they're making this time? You know those coaches, if you watch the Final Four, Notre Dame and UConn, and the rest of those teams, they make 6 figures.
That's great.
6 figures. And I'm going down there saying, they only got $200. The salary didn't really mean anything, so I just did the coaching that I had to. And when we changed, when President Nixon signed Title IX into a law it was obvious that now all the public schools, because we only had parochial schools who played basketball, all the public schools in the country, especially New Jersey, were going to have to play. And we had to train those coaches. And so I was one of the people who was chosen in New Jersey and North Jersey to train young ladies. And most of the cases, if you, how many of you played basketball in high school? Any of you? Sure you did. And, if most of the times it was a physical education teacher. When we were the parochial schools, we were all physical education teachers. That's who they went to first. And so we had to train all these public school people who wanted to be coaches. And at that time, there were only women who would do that. Now, I would say more than 50% coaching girls basketball are men. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe the girls never want to put in the time. Maybe they don't have the time raising a family. I don't know. But there are many men coaching, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And so what happened was the organization that controlled girls and women's sports from Washington, each state had the same organization. It was called Division for Girls and Women in Sports. And they invited 2 people from each state to a clinic, and they taught us how to teach, and then we would come back to our state and run clinics for everybody. And that's how we started to teach young ladies how to coach. And the following year, 90% of the public schools now had teams. So, and then from that, people began to open camps. The Poconos was noted for girls' basketball camps. And so a lot of us went there and worked at camp. And then they were inviting people to be special speakers, to come in and speak on one topic. And so we moved to that area. I would spend the entire summer driving through the Poconos, one camp after another, and then go back the next week and repeat it again because they brought in another whole group of girls. When they realized that the game was exactly the same, and we didn't do that for a while, but they realized the game was exactly the same as the boys, then we were having co-ed clinics. And I'm happy to say that I spoke at clinics with some big-time coaches, male coaches, and that was exciting, you know. But it was an opportunity to teach the girls and the guys. Let's see what else.
I think you did a lot of women empowerment before we even knew what women empowerment was.
Well,
You know,
women.
I think we forget that women didn't even
Oh my God,
have the ability to play basketball.
Terrific woman, Kathy Rush, who was the coach at Immaculate College in Pennsylvania. They must have had 200 college students there. Were national champs 3 years in a row. And those were the women who went out, her and her former players, and the opportunity that I had to speak as women and to become powerful women in the country because of basketball, and to teach the girls to do the same thing. The nicest thing is having one of your girls graduate and then out coaching. And now you were their coach, now they're coaching others. That's such a nice feeling. It gave me the opportunity to travel. I traveled not only all over the state, but I traveled to Canada. I started to do clinics up in Canada. I had the opportunity to coach the U.S. Maccabea team, which was at the Olympics, the Israel Olympics, and they brought a team from each country and had the Italian Jewish, French Jewish, German Jewish, American Jewish, all of us there playing basketball. And what a nice experience that was. Although I must admit they catered to the men much more than the women.
Sure.
I remember eating and starving because we weren't getting, well, I didn't like the food anyway, but we're eating the food and we realized the men were getting so much more food. So the other coach and I, we went to sit with the men so we could eat. The first time they took us into town, I couldn't wait to get a real good Italian meal, and the best I could get was Chef Boyardee ravioli. But it was a great experience for me. I know those people that I worked with had a good time. The group that I'm with now, and same as with you, they're probably when I was doing that, some of you weren't even born. And I think the group that's in my group, the 2018 class, half of them weren't born when I was starting to do this coaching. And it's just so nice to be part of such a nice group and to be able to. It's the ultimate aim. Anytime you're a coach, to be selected to be into the National Hall of Fame is certainly the, you know, I always say now my life is complete. what else could happen to my life? Nothing is better than that. I think as a coach, you start when your first day of coaching. I hope I do enough in this sport so that I can become a member of the Hall of Fame. Took me a while.
89 years.
89 years took me to get there, but I'm there. I don't care how long it took me. I don't know why it didn't happen earlier. I'm happy as a clam being there. But I do want to congratulate you. I just think I've been watching, just sitting in the background saying, oh my goodness, these ladies are here volunteering. First of all, you have to be talented in what you're doing. If I worked for you, I'd probably have to only give out water and carry things. But you seem, you're so close together. And I'll bet when you start working, you're enjoying yourself. And you're a model for me. I can't wait to tell people where I am. I can't wait to say what I did today. That this came through this being a member of the Hall of Fame. I had a couple of other things that I had to turn down, but that's okay.
Better take her out for lunch.
I would never say no to Jaycee, number one, number two. This is just so exciting for me. I'm just so happy to be part of you. But I'm going to give you two little stories. It's amazing the things that happen that you don't expect. But once I was doing a clinic in Philadelphia, and these two ladies came up to me and they said, "Do you speak at banquets to the basketball team?" I said, "Never did, but I will." So here we are in Philadelphia. These two women come up to me. I think, well, how far could it be from Philadelphia? Maybe an hour north, south, east, west. So I said, "Yeah, I can do it." Well, I don't even remember the town, but it took me 5.5 hours to get there. It was up in the northern west spot of Pennsylvania. So on Friday night I went to a town that isn't even on the map. It's a little small town. And then Saturday I was going to the larger town. And I said to the motel I stayed at, I said, "How can I get to the other town?" He said, "Go up to the only light in town, turn right, and just follow that road. It'll take you right into town." And if you've traveled in any of those areas where it's so quiet, you always get to see a church up in the background, a white painted church. And as I was driving by, I could read the sign because it was in large print. "If you're tired of sin, come in." And I thought, isn't that adorable? How nice. And then as I got closer, I said, "Oh, there's some other writing, but I have to wait till I get closer to read it." And so this is what I read. "If you're tired of sin, come in." And then somebody had written, "If not, call 732. And then the second story I have to tell, in one of my parochial school positions, actually at that time, as I think back to that coaching, we weren't allowed to coach from the sideline. I guess they didn't think that was very ladylike to do that. And so I always had a moderator who was a nun who would sit next to me. And this was a brand new gymnasium that I was going into. And you know, from your own experiences, a lot of the stages are on one side and behind a basket, and then the whole gymnasium is now used as an auditorium. Well, they built this gymnasium with the auditorium, the stage on the side. So both teams sat in front of the stage. And because the bleachers were not the most comfortable, and the students took most of the bleachers, the nuns would sit up there to watch the game, the faculty, the parents, and there were a lot of people, some people I didn't even know, I never turned around to look. But one day I was coaching, and I could hear this woman say, she'd complain about everything I did if I substituted. What are you substituting for? Just loud enough for me to hear her. Most of the things were negative, but there were some positive things, I will say that. But this went on and on and on, and finally I poked Sister. I said, "Sister, who's that loudmouth mother? Who's that loudmouth woman up there?" And very demurely, Sister said, "That's my mother." With that, I will say congratulations to you, and good luck, and keep doing the good work.
I just wanted to also, no, stay right here. I just wanted to thank the staff that's here today, Chris and Gloria and Eric. I'm talking about you guys. This doesn't happen. The job site doesn't this doesn't get poured. None of this happens without our staff. So I want to introduce Gloria, who most of you know, working director of volunteers and helps coordinate all the volunteers on the site. Chris, who's our site supervisor and will be supervising you today, along with Eric, who's also a site supervisor and a volunteer supervisor, will be also supervising you today.
As the Women Build committee, we're tasked with this year. We wanted to raise $40,000 for this project, and we can't do that without our sponsors. So we want to say a big thank you to our sponsors: Becton Dickinson, Gettler Gomez and Summers, Carney Bank, Lakeland Bank, McInerney Jansen Family Foundation, Nordstrom, Suez, who will be building today, TD Bank, and my office, Anita De Silva, and State Farm. So thank you so much.
Good morning, Sonia Clark. I'm the Director of Community Relations for Suez. Today we have a team of Suez women who are helping to build at the new Habitat site. Habitat for Humanity of Bergen County is building 4 units here in Washington Township. 2 of them will be for veterans and 2 of them will be for seniors. So during National Women Build Week, which kicks off today, our team of women are helping to make that happen.
Okay, good morning everybody. Good morning. I see a lot of familiar faces out here. So you guys are, some of you are veterans to our volunteer services. But always the most important thing is safety. So as you can see, this is job site. It's very nice and easy to walk on the nice slab here, but everything outside is treacherous. In these bags we have some glasses. If you have glasses on already or sunglasses, it's fine. Those would be fine, sufficient for what we're doing today. But if you don't, you must have some eye protection, because part of what we're doing today as well, we have these little, we call them blasters, but it's sort of it is a firearm, and it has to be used the proper way. They don't work the way they do on TV, Lethal Weapon 2 and 3 and 4. It doesn't work like that. You can't shoot one another with them, even though you might want to, you can't. But I'll show you how they are used. But of course, it's shooting a nail into the wood, into the concrete, and you need to have eye protection and ear protection. But everybody else will be measuring, cutting with the saws, and all that sort of thing. There's also, if you're near the person who's using the blaster, we do have some ear plugs down there, and that green box, that's the Green Monster down there. The Green Monster has all the tools in it, and it has all the things we need, but we already spread around some tools and things like that, so we should be okay. What we're actually doing today is, on those 2 units, this is 4 units here. Some of you may have seen the pictures and all that, but basically it's one building with 4 units in it. I believe the 2 end units are 1 bedrooms, and the 2 in the middle are 2 bedrooms. But we're going to be doing those 2 units down there. We're going to spread out. You'll be putting pieces of wood on top of these, and they have to be measured, and they have to be drilled out to accommodate these nuts that are sticking through, so that we could put the pieces of wood flat down. The people that are working with Eric, you're going to have to, I would suggest that anybody that has some familiarity with the hammer, you can actually nail some nails. I would suggest those people go with Eric. And what happens is there will be some nailing. Once you put the pieces on, you have to tack them to the ones that are down.
Hi, my name is Gloria Bello. I am the Volunteer Engagement Coordinator for Habitat Bergen. It's quite easy to volunteer. All you need to do is go to your computer, go to habitatbergen.org. When you open up the page, you'll see there's a tab that says Volunteers. Click on that and go down to the Volunteer Calendar Opportunities, and you can then click on that button and it'll take you to our pay calendar of all the opening shifts. All you have to do is register, and then you can sign into any shift that you want to participate in. It's that easy, and if you have any questions, just call us at our offices and I'll help you walk through it. The Restore. It's also one of our volunteer opportunities is the Restore. It's our non-construction. It's a retail store where we sell donated furniture, household furnishings, and construction supplies. And again, if you want to volunteer at the Restore, you go to that same website and just click on the shifts for the store. They have a morning shift, an afternoon shift, and what they have flex hours, which is you can work any 2 hours you want. You just put in on the shift what time you want to come in, and you're set to go. Just minimum of 2 hours, and then you can be at the Restore.
Hi, I'm Ariel DeDelva. I've been with the Restore since it opened as a volunteer to begin with, and now as the acting store manager. So I am in charge of the volunteers, displaying the furniture on the store, pricing the furniture, helping the clients out to whatever they need. And also when the pickup trucks bring their donations, the donations that we've picked up, making sure there's room on the floor to put the items. We accept furniture, sofas, leather sofas right now, upholstered chairs, wooden chairs, dining room sets, dressers, lamps, artwork, frames, kitchen items, and decor. We've had workshops in the store, and we had a chalk paint one. We had a demonstration about curtains and rods, and so we have them periodically through the store.
If somebody wants to make a donation, how do they do that?
Okay, if they need a pickup, they go online, and our website describes the process on how to donate. They will be answered within 2 to 3 business days as far as what items we are accepting, and we schedule them for a pickup usually within 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, depending on our schedule. Now, if you want to donate small items that we accept, you can come to the store, usually an hour after we open and an hour before we close. We will look at them and accept them if it's something that we can sell on the floor. And the donations are tax deductible, so when we pick up or when we drop the items off, you will be given a tax donation form.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Matt.
Nice to meet you, Matt.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Good.
Glad to have you.
So we'll be building 4 two-bedroom homes. 2 are definitely dedicated to veterans, and 2 are dedicated to 55 and older, which is the definition of seniors for affordable housing.
What y'all need? I'm pretty handy.
Without our volunteers, we would never build a home. It's helpful to have a group like the Giants. First of all, they mean business when they got here. They're having fun, but they're really working hard.
Precision cut. Precision cut. Who does it like me?
Nobody.
You see that? It's precision right there. We were able to cut some of the headers And I learned that leverage is everything in life. You got to have a good position when you're cutting. You know, your eyes got to be sharp. You got to have the protective gear. It's kind of like football. Everything I just said, you know, I'm good with leverage and good with my hands, so I'm a natural. Yeah. Appreciate that.
Okay. I come from a military family background, and just being able to give back for someone who served our country and risked everything just so we can do everyday activities is huge. So this is just such a small thing that makes such a big difference for the men and women who serve this country.
Oh man, you know what I mean? I think I'm in the wrong business. Well, it means everything because these guys put their lives on the line for us here in this country, and you know, building these homes, and I'll be able to drive by, you know, see the work when it's finished, and knowing I had a hand in that, and actually get in here and meet the people who actually be staying here. So it means a lot.
No, let Donnie.
Donnie can do it.
He's the oldest guy here.
Talk to her about the gray hair.
Yeah, I've been with him for 20 years.
Wait a minute, Johnny, what's your name?
Don Bazzone.
Okay.
I'm a retired phys ed teacher and Hall of Fame track coach. And I've been with him for 20 years. And it's a bunch of guys that started back in Teaneck in 19 something. And what's the matter? Hey Gary.
They
have to move the portage.
Go ahead.
Redheads are here. These are the guys.
A lot of laughs.
Well, for most of this work here, they're very good learners, and some of them are actually teachers. But having fun dancing between the raindrops today.
Okay.
Some of us just like coffee and donuts.
And you write us one of the things, grayheads want to know why the porta-john always has to be cleaned on Wednesdays. It's not fair.
Hey Gary, is there any reason, no matter which job site we're on, they come and clean up on Wednesday? If you could stay around here for like another 10 or 15 minutes, the man from Medicare comes over here and he checks all our cards to make sure we're up to date because everybody here is over 70 years old.
Correct. If you would. Take one nail.
And we're dangerous.
Yeah. Put it right there.
Oh, you were going that way.
Just don't nail the lap part. Just
straighten it up.
Okay, it was a bunch of guys that started about 1996, and they didn't know what to call them, so someone suggested calling them the grayheads, and it just evolved over the years, and I would say 90% of the original grayheads are no longer with us, either moved out or passed away. And so the new group now, most of these guys have about 15 years in some of them. And it's really a great group and a great organization. We enjoy coming here every Wednesday.
I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all